Okay, my name is Pamela. I'm 21 this year. I first started playing the piano when I was 4 years old. I was enrolled into Yamaha by my mother, and that was when I started learning piano. Having played the piano for over a decade, I think the major obstacle is to have consistent improvement from time to time. And the most difficult obstacle I've ever met in my life was when I have a musician block, which means there'll be a point that you can't improve anymore. So yeah, I think that's the biggest obstacle I've ever met. I was first introduced to music through piano, and that was how I fell in love with music in general. So I didn't think of why I didn't choose any other instruments, but rather I was given the opportunity to only learn the piano at that point in time because my mother enrolled me into a piano school. Personally, I prefer the classical genre, which dates from the Baroque all the way to the 20th century. I don't particularly enjoy our current day 21st century music because if you were to look into music carefully, you will find that the music these days are pretty shallow in terms of the composition. Yeah, so for me, I prefer the classical genre. I did have performing experiences. I first started performing when I was 7, and ever since then I always have annual concerts every year to go on stage from 7 all the way till I was 16. So I felt that was a really good exposure for me as a musician because most of the musicians, they can play really well when they're at home, but when it comes to a crowd, they will have terrible stage frights. And I think one reason why I do not have stage fright is because of this constant exposure. And after those annual performances I went on having my own performances in other instruments that I started majoring in when I went to secondary school. It used to be a dream that I would love to attain when I was much younger. Like I know that I will definitely study music when I was younger. Just that I think goals changed when I grew older because I did try out for a few auditions in our local music schools, but I wasn't accepted because the judges felt that my music wasn't mature enough at that point in time because I was too young. And as to whether or not I would further study music as for now, I would say no because I think our local exposure to classical musicians is too small, and it's very difficult for us to study classical music in Singapore, and most of the opportunities are given to foreign talents who have attained numerous international awards already. So it's very difficult for us to pick up and be on par as them. So for now, no. I did teach a few students before, and that was during my holidays. I would teach during weekends, and I must say that I very much enjoy teaching as well. Although my first love is still performing, but if I were to convert to a full-time piano teacher, I don't think I will do that. A teacher really needs a lot of dedication as well as patience, and different students have different needs. So I think being a teacher, you must be very flexible in the way you organize your syllabus and how you deal with different students. So if I were to do teaching, I would do it on a more of a freelance basis more than a full-time teacher.